welcome back to my channel. You know, I've been thinking lately a lot about Pokemon, and a lot of that has come about because my daughter, who's 2 years old, has become very obsessed with Pokemon, and particularly Pokemon Sword and Shield. And she's been playing with my wife and I while we go through the DLCs and, you know, re-experience some of that magic that we had when we first bought that game. And it's so nice to have my daughter get really involved and super excited when it comes out. I mean, when she sees the Switch or anything that reminds her of Pokemon, she, you know, gets up and says, "I want to play Pokemon." Pokemon. She can't quite say Pokemon yet, but she calls it Pokemon, and I think it's adorable. So that kind of got me thinking, though, of when I was first introduced to Pokemon, and you know, back in the 90s when it was first introduced. You know, I remember when I was in grade 1, everybody on the block, everybody in the schoolyard, all they could talk about when I was in grade 1 and 2, a lot, was Pokemon. And everybody had the plushies, the toys, because they just went nuts with the merchandise and the games. And I remember people with their Game Boy and Game Boy Colors at recess playing them on the yard. And growing up, I just loved Pokemon. I used to run home to watch the anime. And it's funny because in my household, we had to finish your homework first before you could do other things. And it just so happened that by the time I got home, that's when they were airing Pokemon, the anime. And I just didn't have time to watch them, and I used to try to skip my homework or lie and say I didn't have homework to go watch this. And of course, don't lie to your parents, they always catch you. And it caught up with me, and so I was told I wasn't allowed to watch Pokemon until I finished my homework. And so my grandfather, very nice of him, he would film them so I would be able to watch them at the end of the week. He'd keep filming and drop off VHS tapes, which just tells you how old I am and how long ago that was. But anyways, I did and have played many of the main series games, and I'm a big fan of Pokemon. And I started thinking, you know, maybe I should share some of my experiences, some of my teams that I've had over the years with these various playthroughs that I have. And I'm lucky because some of these games I can just go back and check, and other ones, they're just so memorable because they were the first ones, they just seared into my brain. And so I thought the perfect place to start is the beginning, which is with the going to Kanto, and starting with Red, Blue, and Yellow, and the remakes of those, which is Fire Red and Leaf Green. Now, of course, I am aware that they have Let's Go Pikachu and Eevee. I have Let's Go Eevee for the Switch. I haven't played it yet. So it's on my list, but I haven't played it. So I'm not going to give a team for that because I haven't done it yet. But I thought for this video, we'll just stick with Kanto and we'll see how it goes and go on from there. But yeah, and these are the, for me, these teams, they're not the greatest, right? I don't play competitively, and it's something you'll see throughout the series. I do not play competitively. I play with whatever I think is fun, whatever I like, you know. I play for fun, right? As I think is the theme that I often say in these videos. And some of these teams reflect it. They're not the best teams. I look at some of them now and laugh and say, you know, why would you have two of the same type? Like, what are you doing? So much overlap there. What are you doing there? But I was a kid. So let's look at this. The first one, going all the way back, is Pokemon Blue. As I think I've said before, I never owned, and to this day, do not own a Game Boy Color or original Game Boy. My family did not believe in that, but everybody else on my street did, and all my friends and all the people out on the schoolyard did. And so I used to get quite jealous a little bit that they were playing Pokemon and having their own adventures, and I was not. I was extremely lucky to have a friend of mine on the street who let me borrow a copy of his Pokemon Blue and his Game Boy for one whole week. which I thought was fun, and I was able to play through it and loved it. And I remember being super excited with it and really playing every waking moment with this and loving Pokemon Blue. And so to start off, you got to pick your starter. And I thought, well, I'm playing Pokemon Blue, so I'm going to pick Blastoise. And so that was my first member of my team. And quite a strong member, especially you think about the first gym, beat right through it. You know, Blaine, easy peasy with Blastoise. Lieutenant Surge, obviously, you know, you had a little trouble with him, but, you know, you had other Pokemon for that. So, first member was Blastoise. My second member was the regional bird. I got myself a Pidgey, evolved it all the way up to a Pidgeot. And another excellent member of the squad. I really enjoyed him. Fantastic member. And, you know, way better than most of the other birds that are present in Kanto. So, no, highly, highly enjoyable. The next was, which became one of my favorite Pokemons ever, is Kadabra. Obviously, I prefer Alakazam, but at the time I didn't have anybody to trade with to get an Alakazam, so I had a Kadabra. And it took me a long time to catch an Abra, because the damn thing teleports all the time, but I finally was able to catch one and raise it up to a Kadabra. And I never knew, because when I was a kid, there was no... The internet was there, but nobody really used it for any reference for games and that. You either had a game guide or you called Nintendo Power or Nintendo Hotline, or Helpline, pardon me. You didn't have what you have today to look at other people on the internet and get an answer right away. So I didn't know that you had to trade it. So I kept playing until I finally figured it out at the Elite Four that it will not evolve to a Kadabra. But anyway, so I had a Kadabra. Sorry, it wouldn't evolve to an Alakazam, pardon me. The next one on my team was a Primate, which I caught a Mankey quite early on, before your first rival encounter with Gary, or Blue, as they call him. And I called him Gary, because I one at the time was like Ash. And so I caught myself a Mankey, evolved into Primate. Wonderful addition again on the team. Really enjoyed having that early fighting type. My next one was, I caught a Diglett in Diglett's Cave. Got a Dugtrio. Carried the team. Between him and Blastoise, carried that team. And I really liked that. I kind of fell in love with a little bit with my Dugtrio, just because of the power. This awesomeness with Earthquake, it just blew me away in how strong he was. And then I had a Graveler. Again, another one that will evolve through trade evolution to get a Golem. Didn't know. I just remembered Brock had a Geodude, and I thought Geodude was pretty cool, and so I wanted one on my team, and it evolved to a Graveler, and I waited and waited and waited, just like with my Kadabra, wouldn't evolve. So that was my first team. And looking back, it's not too bad. You know, there's a couple of things, like, you know, with Graveler being a ground and rock, and so there's some overlap with Dugtrio. But overall, I'd say it wasn't a bad team for a kid that was playing back in grade 1. So, not too bad. The next one is a game, and this is something that I think is common for a lot of my Pokemon games. I will play them multiple times, and I don't always finish them. What I mean by that is I don't always get to the Elite Four. Things happen, things get in the way, and I don't actually finish things. Because of that, or another game drops, and I just forget about it, and then go, oh geez, how far was I? What Pokemon did I have? Oh, you know what, I'll just restart. And that's happened so many times to me. Mainly with Diamond and Pearl. As I said, got it for Christmas one year. I have never completed it all the way, but I'm going to change that in 2021. And another game that I've played so many times and didn't complete it all the way are any of the Fire Red and Leaf Green. Until this year, 2020, I decided to do that. and commit to actually getting to the Elite Four. I always got past the gym leaders, had 8 badges, but just never got any further. And I thought, you know what? That's rubbish. You're going to finish and start from scratch and finish. So that's what I did this year. And so the team I had, and for this I used, I just happened, I couldn't find my Fire Red copy for the Game Boy Advance, so I used a ROM to play, and for the fun of it, I put it on randomizer and had a whole bunch of different, Pokemon that I could use from all the generations, up to the first 3 generations, that is, and made it quite an interesting team, and had a really good time, really fun time, and loved it. Some of these Pokemon aren't great, but I really liked it. And so the first one, I got rid of my starter. I picked Bulbasaur, but I decided to go with the first one that came up that I caught was a Vileplume. Or, well, it was an Oddish, and I evolved it to a Gloom, then to a Vileplume. Really fun. That thing was a tank and did very well. I had a lovely time. The combination of grass poison, just like Bulbasaur, excellent. I just really, really enjoyed Vileplume. Excellent member of my team. The next was one that you catch, of course. It's blocking your path when you have to get to different areas to expand the map, which is Snorlax. And I caught a Snorlax, and boy, obviously Snorlax is bulky, high HP stat. However, he was quite powerful as well. You give him Mega Punch, did pretty well. I really enjoyed Snorlax. He was an excellent member of my team. The next is my favorite Pokemon that I got to use, and I use it most of the time whenever I can, and that is Gardevoir. I love that Pokemon, especially now with the new typing of Fairy. I mean, I don't know, I just like it a lot. And the design's beautiful, the lore, how it's going to protect its trainer, make a little black hole to protect them. Love it. I love the whole thing about it. And it's my favorite Pokemon. So if I can, I always try to get one. And I just so happen to have encountered a Ralts, which then I got it to evolve into a Gardevoir. And to be honest, MVP of the team, I think. It did really, really well. The next was Sharpedo, right? That dark and water-type Pokemon, the shark, wonderful. I've always wanted to use one, and I have had a Sharpedo in the past when I played Pokemon Sapphire, but I never got very far enough to see how well it would do. So, I had one but didn't get far enough to see. And another really good addition to the team, those powerful dark-type moves come quite handy when you're facing off against Ghost, as well as, Psychic, destroyed Sabrina, and even Agatha. So, really, really good team member. The next is a Pokemon I've always wanted to use since I first seen it back in Sapphire, Pokemon Sapphire, but I just never, for some reason, never got one and never used one, and that was getting a Flygon. And excellent, it's a dragon ground, great combination, did very well. I really, really liked it. Fantastic Pokemon. And the last one, which I called Slowy, because I know it was notorious for being slow, and most people would not use it, is Magcargo. Alright, so I caught a Slugma, got it to a Magcargo. It's a rock fire. Super slow. I mean, it ain't going fast. I even gave it a quick claw so that it could once in a while pop and go first. But oh my god, it was super slow. But I got a good nature on it, and so I was able to do some pretty good damage with special attacks. So overall, I thought it was not too bad. And so these are my 2 teams that I made when I first played these Kanto area games back in the day. And of course I have played Fire, Leaf Green, and I've also played, you know, Yellow and things. Hey, if you want me to share my experience with them and the Pokemon that I used back then for those playthroughs, hey, let me know. Share, like, subscribe. Let me know, what was your team that you guys used when you first played your first Pokemon game, especially if it was in the originals or the remakes of the originals. So please, take care. And again, have a wonderful, wonderful holiday season, and we'll see you later on. Take care. Bye for now.